Me say people, wanna look here. In my house and hear knock, knock, knock. When me look, I'm neighbor knock. I call over there, I say, I want to go on. Oh, you knock down the house. So. She said she take off the house top. Because she now with family to come take it off. She take it off from now. Me believe in her. Yeah, she have sense. Do make Melissa take care of yourself.
On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype. We make it take flight.
Yeah, man, my viewers and subscribers, what Guan, a blessed and wonderful Sunday to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now, my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side. Well, in the morning, yeah, I know so I got definitely speak mostly to the ones them abroad because the ones them where they are yard like myself soon have no electricity, and for certain places, I'm pretty sure that they have already experienced the power outage. So to all members of the diaspora, if you can't reach through to your family members, just don't bother to worry, because the good book say why worry when you can pray. So once you can't get through them, just know say JPS have cut off intentionally the electricity to save lives, because keeping the electric up, trees are gonna drop, poles are gonna drop, all sort of things are gonna happen, and taking out the live current, because I don't know say live current and water electrocution business that, so they have to take out the current from out of the system to prevent loss of life and also fires. So just try to communicate with who you can communicate with now. If you can tap them up with some credit, just do that. But just make sure say everybody alright, safe and secure. So as at tomorrow morning at 7 a.m, Portland first I get shut down off the JPS grid. By 8 a.m, St. Catherine. By 9 a.m, Kingston, St. Thomas, St. Mary, St. Anne, Manchester, those parishes will be totally off the JPS grid. At 10 a.m, parts of St. Andrew and also St. James and St. Elizabeth will be cut off. At 11 a.m, Clarendon, Trelawney, and at 1 p.m, Hanover and Westmoreland. So basically, by 2 o'clock tomorrow in the day, all of Jamaica will be under total shutdown as it relates to the JPS grid. So for those who don't have any generator system, you know say literally on the corners dark. But sometimes, you know, my peeps, some things have to happen, because sad to say, no knockings and clappings now go on in Jamaica right now. So this just shows who is really in charge. Certainly not us. The Almighty Creator have a way of humble the baddest of people them. And right now, we are definitely all humbled. So let us continue to pray for the island. All the prayer warriors, all the believers in the Almighty Creator, let us continue to pray for our dearly beloved island home, Jamaica. I will most definitely will be sharing some updates, video footages and so on right hereafter, so you can watch them there and get yourself up to speed to what is happening on the island. And if you don't hear from me again, that means my light gone too. Good thing is we have a generator can go and run, so we can stay up on top of things and see if we can keep up to date with happenings in Jamaica. But until then, my peeps, just keep us in your immediate prayers. Jah guide. Yeah, man. Saying away. Watch.
Now, I know that there are many Jamaicans who are anxious, who are very concerned, and rightfully so. You should be concerned. But the best way to address anxiety and any nervousness and concern is to be prepared. So I would urge all my fellow citizens, everyone who is now feeling nervous, anxious, uncertain, that now is the time to be prepared. And the elements of preparedness for a hurricane would be, first of all, you want to protect your shelter. That's absolutely critical, because in a hurricane, you would need to be somewhere where you can be sheltered. Roofs, windows, start there. Battening down. I noticed that many Jamaicans are putting building blocks on their zinc and so forth. That is a solution, but a better option would be to use sandbags, which stay longer and are not likely to be blown off. If you can find plywood or anything of that form to protect your windows, that would be useful. We always say to remove threatening branches from trees. We have seen one incident where someone was injured trying to do that, so we advise that if you're doing that, be super careful in doing that. The next layer of preparation would be to look for areas that are vulnerable to flooding. If you find that your yard is below road level or in a water zone, meaning you have built in a river course, you're on a slope, you're near to the sea, you're in a low-lying area, you're close to or on a gully bank, or historically, you are in an area where the river may change course. You want to take protective measures. And again, simple sandbagging can be useful in directing water away from your shelter. Once you have sorted out your shelter issues, then you have to look for sustenance, food and water. Make sure that you have food that is non-perishable and water that is in proper containers, scaled to the number of persons who live in your household. Then you want to look for ensuring that you have at least some form of lighting, because it is highly likely that the electricity will go either preemptively or as a result of the storm itself. Batteries and flashlights are recommended. You know, the good old home sweet home lamp is always there, but we're always very careful, last resort. Batteries and flashlights, today's technology with LED lights, you can have lights going for a little while in the night. Solar lamps are always good to have. These are things that you would want to have in your possession. Of course, in today's world, telecommunications is important. Make sure you have at least some credit if you use prepaid plans, that you keep your device is safe. We can't give you any guarantee that throughout the storm you will have full coverage. It is likely that you may have some coverage at some point, but you should always, in your hurricane plan, be prepared that you may be out of communication. But nevertheless, keep your instruments safe. Don't let them get wet, so that at least if the signals were to come back, you'll be able to connect. Having done all of that, there is another important thing which we ask you to do. Keep your documents safe. Your identification, your passport, any prescriptions that you may need to be refilled, land titles, and all of those things, keep them safe. Keep them in a safe place. Yes, there would be distribution of benefits without the need for identification, but that would be very limited. In fact, in the humanitarian relief and recovery phase, I would say that most, if not all, the distribution of benefits will require some form of identification because of the accountability issues that, even though it's a hurricane, we can't suspend accountability. So keep your identification safe.
Your name, you're Minister of Social Security and
Colonel Charles, you're the Minister of Labour and Social Security. Also, Member of Parliament for South East Clarendon, which is one of the most at-risk areas in the country.
And let's get to that point right now. This track right now, as it speaks, is going to cut to the west of Kingston and through some of those central areas, south central areas of Jamaica. Your biggest concern as far as the residents right now and your mission?
So, of course, the biggest concern is to save lives. Next is to mitigate or to minimize damage to property and to the community. So we are, of course, urging all residents to go to higher ground. For instance, in Clarendon, St. Catherine, Manchester, which is where it's projecting to be now, we have shelters, evacuation centers. There are family and friends that are willing to take persons in who are in the low-lying areas or the flood-prone areas. And so we've already activated our communication protocol. And we've asked residents, and we want to urge residents who are listening, who are watching, to take this very, very seriously. The last time we had any landfall of a hurricane was in 2012 with Hurricane Sandy, and that was a Category 1. And there was significant destruction to bridges and to infrastructure, also to homes. So if we juxtapose that, look on what happened with us with Beryl, which was just the outer bands. Yeah. It means we are looking on significant damage if this continues along this current trajectory. So we've asked persons to not wait until it gets to a point that it's difficult to evacuate or to save you, but rather to take early action. Several of these residents are very aware because they live in areas where we've had these kind of protocols many times. Mm-hmm. This is not the case where you should be saying, let's wait it out.
Right.
This is, if there's ever a time for you to listen and to take action, this is now.
This is dire, life and death at this point.
Exactly. It's at Category 4 based on what I've heard. This morning at about 6 o'clock in the Rocky Point area, which is one of the areas along the southern coast, we were already seeing storm surges.
Yeah.
All right? And we're already hearing the roar and the wrath of the seas. And so it is very important that we take heed now. Another very important message is for persons to secure their identification documents. I am the Minister of Labour and Social Security, and this ministry that I have had the opportunity to lead is the lead for the welfare coordination. One of the great difficulties that we have seen in the past is when we come in to provide any support in terms of distribution of relief supplies, payment of relief assistance in cash grants or in kind, we have to know who you are. Yeah. And so we have to verify you with your national ID and your TRN. And many times, because of the destruction, persons lose those documents.
Right.
So we're asking the residents, as you evacuate, take your very important identification documents, secure them, put them in a Ziploc, put them in something that is waterproof, and make sure that you carry them with you. It will ease the burden of the process of providing that relief post-disaster.
With 2,200 odd persons.
All residents of Old Harbour Bay, you are asked to evacuate now. The shelter at Old Harbour High is open. A bus will be coming at the square to assist you to go to the shelter. All residents of Old Harbour Bay, you are asked to evacuate now. A bus will be coming to assist you to take you to the shelter at Old Harbour High. If you don't want to come to the shelter, find a family member on higher ground and stay there. Life is important.
No joke. Yeah, man. Thank you for that, man. So, St. Catherine Municipal Corporation Community Emergency Response Team, guys.
The toll, we are waiting and expecting to give a directive to open the toll booths closer to the time of the storm or the hurricane. As of right now, the build-up is not bad. We are monitoring it. And I have already signed an order that just needs to be dated so that it can be effected immediately. So once we see it, and I suspect probably closer to Monday, with the big impact coming between Monday night and Tuesday, that would when the necessity would arise. But more importantly, I'm also giving a directive that once the storm or the hurricane passes, that we open the toll for emergency services and, of course, other persons who want to go to check on their family, their businesses, etc. So we have a pre and a post plan for toll.
On the Garden Executive Director, National Solid Waste Management Authority. Behind me you can see one of our tipper trucks and a crew trying to pick up a freshly cut tree to dispose of it before the rain comes. Now this is hard to deal with because the trees that are being cut now, we didn't make accommodation for them because today we shouldn't even be out here today. But we have a last minute spirit that we operate by in Jamaica, which is not good. And it's very dangerous because all these will be floating in the water to clog drains and cause flooding. But we are racing against time to see how best we can move it. But we are asking people at this time not to cut the trees and put it on the roadway. Cut it up, put it somewhere in the yard where you can capture and secure it so that we don't have it blown all over the place and create more problems for us. Because it's very, very difficult to run around now to collect all the trees that are being cut.
It's true, man. It got long time from the week before this week I start. I make the thing active. Be a place and black up on them things I'm about.
Yeah.
I cut it late. If I cut it from last week and picked out them they cut from last night. It's hard to find when you go drive right now. It's hard to find.
You can just make out the mountains around Kingston, Jamaica behind me where the rain from Melissa is starting to fall. And even as the storm gets closer, which you see behind me, all these trucks down here are carrying out, trying to dig out debris from these gullies. These are the gullies that are supposed to carry all of this rainfall. Could be a couple of feet out of the mountains and out to the ocean. But the concern is because of all of the buildup that has been down here for years, that the gullies could be overwhelmed, that it could overflow the walls into these neighborhoods, that it could even potentially compromise this bridge, the roadway that we're standing on, which is a major thoroughfare between the western and the eastern part of the island.
As Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland. In the midst of our drain cleaning activities, I just came upon a shocking article. An article that states that Western Parks and Markets have diverted garbage trucks from Westmoreland and Hanover to St. James to clean up backlog of garbage in St. James. We have a serious backlog of garbage in Westmoreland. I actually have to call the Solid Waste Agency every single day because every day people call me in different communities about the backlog of garbage and the garbage not being collected. So we want to know if Westmoreland is not as important as St. James, if Hanover is not as important as St. James, because how can you move the limited resources we have available here? Because every day we're here, we don't have enough trucks. How can you take trucks from Westmoreland and send to St. James when we have the same problems that St. James has? The National Solid Waste Agency needs to answer these questions immediately and let the residents of Westmoreland know why they are not being prioritized in this serious time. We're in the middle of our drain cleaning activities, but I want to express some concerns we have while we are going through this process. It is difficult to clean many of the drains because of the current situation in some of them. One, there are many illegal wires in some of the drains. There are illegal pipes in some of the drains. And the fact that a lot of persons would have built their houses so close to the drains, it hinders the equipment from going through in a proper way. So it's very difficult. So most of these drains will have to be cleaned by manpower when we get the resources. But for the equipment to go through and do the right thing and to clean it in the right and proper way, it is very difficult because of these three major factors.
Very.
As Hurricane Melissa gets closer to Jamaica, the activities here from the fisher folks in Alligator Pond pushing their vessels as far inland as possible.
Yeah, man. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. Calabash Bay Seaside. Treasure Beach. Yeah. But them line up still, but they look like them have to go a little further. Yeah, man. So, that's how it look, you know. So it look down here, brother. Sea start coming. Yeah, so the beach look. You know.
gosh.